Christian Romero's header deflects in off a Cape Verde defender's back in the 111th minute. That's the moment the smallest nation ever to play a World Cup came within one bounce of eliminating the defending champions. Cape Verde didn't win that night, but they proved something every underdog needs proven first, that the gap isn't as wide as the world thinks. If you've ever picked a team nobody else believed in and watched them almost pull it off, you already know why this question matters. Because right now, in the actual bracket of this actual tournament, there is one team still alive that isn't supposed to be here, and its story started with a penalty shootout most people didn't even watch live. Morocco. In the round of 32, Morocco faced the Netherlands. On paper, this was not close. The Dutch had reached the knockouts as one of the tournament's stronger sides, and for 90 minutes plus extra time, Morocco simply refused to lose. The match went to penalties and Morocco walked away 3-2 winners. One giant gone. That alone would have been a good story. But then came the round of 16 and Morocco didn't just survive again, they dominated. A 3-0 win over Canada, one of the three host nations, playing in front of a home crowd desperate for a different result. Morocco didn't sneak past a co-host. They dismantled one. 2 knockout matches. 2 results nobody outside Morocco predicted, and now they're through to the quarterfinals, where France is waiting on July 9th. Here's the part that should genuinely worry every giant left in this tournament. Morocco has done this before. In 2022, they became the first African nation, the first Arab nation ever to reach a World Cup semifinal. That wasn't luck, that was a specific identity, a deep, disciplined defensive block that suffocates space, paired with moments of individual brilliance that punish any team that gets careless. The players who built that identity are largely still here. The habits didn't disappear just because the calendar changed. So what actually gives them a chance against a team like France? Structure. Morocco's entire game is built to make bigger, more talented teams uncomfortable. They don't try to out-possess anyone. They let you have the ball, they let you probe, and they wait patient, compact, disciplined for the one mistake that turns into a transition goal or a set piece. Against the Netherlands, that patience won them a shootout. Against Canada, it turned into a statement score line. But patience has a weakness, and it's the same weakness every underdog eventually runs into quality up front. Morocco can frustrate a good team for 90 minutes. Frustrating France, who can produce a moment of individual brilliance out of nothing, is a different kind of test entirely. One lapse in that defensive discipline, and a team with France's attacking talent doesn't need many chances to punish it. And Morocco isn't the only underdog storyline. This tournament has already written this part matters, because it tells you something bigger is happening. Paraguay beat Germany on penalties in the round of 32 in what was, at that point, the single biggest upset of the entire tournament. Jordan, playing in their first ever World Cup, scored in every single group match against opposition that included the defending champions. Curaçao and Uzbekistan, also making their World Cup debuts, competed hard enough to make bigger nations sweat, even without advancing. None of these were flukes stacked on top of each other by coincidence. Something about this 48-team format, more teams, more paths, more chances for a smaller nation to catch a favorite on an off night, is producing more of these moments than the old 32-team version ever did. Which brings us back to the real question. Not, can an underdog beat a giant in one match? We've already watched that happen more than once, with real goals and real penalty shootouts to prove it. The real question is whether an underdog can do it 4, 5, 6 times in a row against increasingly better opposition without a single off night. That's the part history says is brutally hard. Morocco reached a semifinal in 2022 and still didn't win the tournament. Being the underdog helps you shock one giant. It rarely helps you beat 5 of them back-to-back, because the deeper a tournament goes, the less room there is for a defensive low block to hide. So here's the balanced truth. Morocco has already done the hardest part that most underdogs never get to do. They've beaten a genuine contender and dismantled a host nation, using a system that has already proven on the biggest stage 4 years ago that it can go the distance further than anyone expects. That's not hope. That's evidence. But football's oldest rule hasn't broken just because the bracket got bigger. The teams with the most individual talent still tend to find a way when it matters most. Morocco's quarterfinal against France will likely tell us. In 90 minutes, exactly how far discipline can carry a team before talent simply takes over. Cape Verde came within a deflection of extra time against Argentina. Morocco has already beaten a top 10 side and a host nation to reach the final 8. The gap between underdog and champion has never looked smaller than it does right now. So if the trophy actually goes to a team nobody had circled in January, what does that do to the way every future World Cup gets predicted?